So that was an issue for me. Just had to drop that lady there who was going to Guy's. She said had a 5-minute walk, and she had some bags. If I'd have took her all the way around, it would probably have cost another £5. But thankfully she didn't have any mobility issues. I mean, what if she had done? This is the sort of problem we've got now with these restrictions. We can't get people to where they need to be.
Well, unfortunately I wasn't able to get as close as I would like to. On a beautiful day like this, it doesn't really matter because the sun's out, but that's obviously not going to happen all the time, and I hate to think what it would have been like in the midst of winter or in rain or the storm. The other thing is that I didn't have much luggage today, and usually I have quite a lot of luggage, and that was a long walk with a lot of luggage. The other issue that I think about is when my mum was coming to Guy's and St Thomas's for her chemotherapy, and there's absolutely no way that physically she would have been able to walk that distance at all, so that would have been a real problem.
I mean, come on, how do you do that? How do you do a Waterloo station to Euston station, say, if you've got someone in the cab who needs to get to UCH, if they're being sheltered, if they're a cancer patient, you know, how do you do that without taking them over Blackfriars? Why should they pay double for things like that? You know, why? It's so unfair.
I imagine it is so difficult at the moment for anyone who has a mobility issue just to get around. And when we talk about mobility, we're talking about the frail, the elderly, the wheelchair dependent, the anxious, and anyone who is carrying heavy luggage or shopping. I imagine if you access the taxicard scheme, then you are literally pulling out your hair. Taxicard is a fantastic scheme that offers subsidised travel to over 80,000 members from 32 participating boroughs. And I think last year alone they completed more than 1.5 million journeys. The scheme is available to all those that would find it too difficult to use buses or trains. But not only that, taxis are built with safety in mind. Not least that there is a privacy partition, but every taxi is 100% wheelchair accessible with added benefits for the hearing and sight impaired. And crucially, our passengers are not means tested. And so the default position should assume that every passenger has a potential disability, and to not take them to their desired destination breaches compellability laws. But not to be able to take them to their desired destination could be a potential breach of the Equalities Act. And so every councillor or politician out there that advocates restricting taxi access should be ashamed.
With all this congestion, what was before enclosure, actually was much easier for me to travel from my apartment to the UCL Macmillan cancer treatment hospital to get my chemotherapy and immunotherapy, because there was not much closure of the roads and not changing of the direction of the roads. But now, with all the closures, it's becoming almost impossible for me to actually go to the hospital for my treatments, because I can't walk, I can't cycle, and obviously with my condition I certainly wouldn't be using public transport. I'm relying on black taxis to take me door to door and, you know, bring me down there in safe environment, so I can actually not pick up any viruses or anything on the way. But I'm finding more and more difficult actually just to get to the hospital, because on a daily basis the roads are closed, the different roads are closed, the direction of the roads, so it actually add up extra 5-10 minutes on a journey, and obviously on the price of my journey.
I just pull over to show you something. This is the route that I have to take now to get to the hospital. I used to be allowed to go straight and just turn right. Now I have to go a long way around, and sometimes this adds 5 to 10 minutes to my journey. And I don't see how is this helping to anyone. I think that we are all fed up to become political football. All we want to do is go out, earn a living and pay our bills. And I don't see how this is helping to congestion and pollution. With all the changes and the road closure, my job is becoming nearly impossible to do. It's becoming so difficult, not only for me, but as well for my passengers. Just to get them from A to B on the daily basis is becoming a nightmare.
Hi Joe, how do you think the restrictions will impact on your working day?
I think the restrictions are going to make it so hard for me to do my job. It's going to affect the passengers. In fact, the passengers can't believe that we can't actually drop them to their destination sometimes, or we have to take like a longer journey, which is so inefficient for us. It's just mad to think that we've done the knowledge and we've trained to do this, and we can't do our job properly. We can't take people where they need to be sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Is this cab yours, or do you rent this cab? No, I rent my cab, which is quite expensive, and I'd rather buy one, but I'm too worried about investing in a cab because I'm just worried about the future of the trade and the way it's going, how we're restricted by government policies, and it's just making it so hard for us now.
Yeah, you can stay here by all means and wait for the calls.
I'm here with Darren from ID Taxis. Tell me, Darren, how has the pandemic affected your trade?
Well, basically, I've had my whole fleet come back now. And they're sitting out there gathering dust at the moment, never knowing when they're going to go back on the road. That's worrying for me, because obviously that's going to have a knock-on effect on, without my taxis on the road, they've got to be paid for. So where am I going to find the money for them? then we can go on to then obviously that I don't get no revenue in to pay for parts to keep them on the road, for then my mechanics not to work, and my building premises has to be paid for, and you know, we've been left in limbo now, and there's no way to turn. I don't know what's going to happen, and if taxi drivers are going to return to the industry, being this side of it, I speak to taxi drivers on a daily basis, and there's, you know, a lot of them are trying to get some sort of income, you know, and working for Tesco's, whatever that, but that doesn't help me as a business, obviously, with my taxis covering dust. So I'm just baffled on where we're going to go. That's the problem.
It's very quiet right now, and it's affecting for everything. I'm coming here like every day to try to open the business, but it's no drivers, no.
Yeah, I was thinking, is it sustainable? I mean, for you to be open like this?
Not really. It's not making any money. The business is not doing very not good at all. But I'm just trying to be coming in. If any driver's been working, but.
Yeah, because I realize used to girls has been here behind the
well,
counter.
Staff, no one coming to work now. It doesn't.
Are you gonna? Do you think that you will have to lay the staff off?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is. I mean, do you know this?
It's no work. It's no work to keep everybody to work. You know, it's not work today. It's not today, but not every day. It's no. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but we'll see.
I'm in a sort of, I suppose, a reasonable position. I'm a little bit older, but I see young drivers coming into the trade, and we need those young drivers, and they're being asked to make these huge investments, and they've also got big commitments, you know, young families, mortgages, and I just don't know how they're going to be able to sort of keep up with all this. These measures, they just don't help us at all.
Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Dan, how long have you been a taxi driver?
Coming up to 3 years now.
3 years. And how long did it take for you to complete the knowledge?
It was near 4 years, about three years, 10 months, you know.
Cool, it felt about 10 years. Feels like we didn't see you for the whole 4 years.
Yeah, it was, huge part of my life, wasn't it?
Since then.
Had those two.
Do you remember
as well,
that time when they used to wake up in the night and couldn't get them back to sleep? And we'd go, let's just go out pointing, all of us in the car.
Like 2 a.m, they'd be wide awake.
In the car.
We knew they weren't going to go back to sleep, so that happened a fair few occasions where we were just going out. They'd sleep the whole time I was pointing. We'd get back at like 7:30 in the morning, we'd be absolutely shattered, and then they'd be wide awake. Yeah, it wasn't exactly ideal, but that was a sacrifice. That was the way it was, you know, that was all part of the journey, and you know, that's what you needed to do and for being able to, you know, to get your badge. So
how do you think you've been impacted by the pandemic?
Yeah, you know, a lot. It's not been easy. You know, I haven't been able to obviously work. The work just isn't there, unfortunately, and it has a huge knock-on effect to not only taxi drivers but to everyone else. You know, garage owners, restaurant owners, who supply, you know, cab drivers. So yeah, it's a huge knock-on effect, but really feeling the pinch.
Do you think you're being helped get back to work?
No, I mean, general public who I know of have said to me many times, why is there not some scheme in place that is enabling black cab drivers to help Londoners, to help medical staff, to help the NHS, to help patients, you know, get around London, get around even suburban London, and there's just nothing been put in place to enable that to happen. And you have to question, why? Why has that not been allowed to happen?
I think the knowledge of London is a great equaliser. It doesn't discriminate against age, sexuality or race. It rewards endeavour over privilege and enables safe and efficient transport. As a taxi driver, there is no gender pay gap. It's a great job for those who have young families, and notably there is no corporate interest, so all the money that is generated through the industry gets ploughed back into the UK economy. So what is not to like, except that the politicians from the top down are hell-bent on destroying a much loved, much valued, sought after industry.
I just wish that the Mayor included us as part of the solution and not treat us as if we are the problem. We're not. We've always adhered to regulations and we've always done what's been asked of us. And now I feel like we're just being sort of persecuted. And I think, we want to be part of this new movement. We want to breathe cleaner air, and we want to provide a service to Londoners, all Londoners, disabled, whatever it happens to be. We are as valid today as we was, back in the day, 300 years ago, whatever. There's still a requirement for a major world-class city like London to have a world-class taxi service.
Just one glance on social media and you will see the anger, the resentment and frustration from drivers who just want to be left alone. They want to go out, work hard, go home and feed their families and not have to worry that their lives might be ripped away from them. And well, given the fragility of an individual's well-being and mental health coming out of lockdown, I don't think that merely wanting to be left alone is too much to ask.
My daddy is the best taxi driver in my world.